Hi everyone, and welcome to Guilt-Free Retail Therapy. I'm Maria, and I'll be spending the next few minutes with you to talk a little bit about how to read and use a Keepa chart in a simplified manner. Before we get going though, I want you to do me a huge favor. I want you to hit that subscribe button and push that notification bell so every time that I post a new video for you, you'll have the opportunity to see it first. Okay, so let me introduce you to Keepa. This is the actual website where you can either turn it on through a web link or a URL, or you can add a Chrome extension to Google Chrome. You cannot add the Chrome extension anywhere else, unfortunately, so if you're using a different software, then you're going to have to log in to the Keepa chart. So you can actually search by the product ASIN, or you can have the Chrome extension do all the work for you. So let's see how it works. So let's get into Keepa. Why do I use Keepa? Well, it's one of those tools that I cannot live without. Up until just a few weeks ago, it was free, and now you have to pay an annual fee for it. Well worth the annual fee. So why do I think Keepa is important? Well, it's a tool that allows me to see several things. How well the product sells, how many sellers, is it a dud, do I want to buy it, and it gives me a lot of analytics on the tool. So we're going to start today by looking at 3 very simple ways that I analyze a product on Amazon. What you see on your screen right now is the first one that I would call a dud. Well, why do I call it that? So Keepa chart tells you, this line here tells you what the sales rank is. And on Amazon, the best seller rank, or the BSR, is the be-all and the end-all when it comes to selling products. The higher that score is, the worse the product does. So you want to keep your score as low as possible in order to know that you're going to sell many of these products. The next button, it says, is this a new or a used item? Well, unless you're selling a used item, I usually keep the new button on. The other one that I look at, the list price tells you what the manufacturer suggested price would be. Sometimes it's on the product and sometimes it's not, so it's neither here nor there. And then the buy box. The buy box tells you what the item is listed for at that particular moment that this was captured. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is the price it was sold for. So Keepa goes into Amazon on a very frequent basis, and it pulls up information on the sales, and it keeps this algorithm going. So at the time that it captured this particular algorithm, this item here was listed at $36.98 in the buy box. What is the buy box, you're asking? Well, it's that big yellow add to cart button that customers see, and the goal of every Amazon seller is to own that buy box. We want to be the company that the customer ends up buying from when they hit that big orange add to cart button. So that's the first half. The second half of the chart is down below, and this tells you how many sellers there are. Now, if there's 15 sellers and there's not a lot of sales, it's something that I look at and go, not necessarily one that I want to sell. Now, it defaults to 3 months. You can change it to a year to view how many times it's sold in a year. You can view it to see in the lifetime, how many times a day it sells, how many times a week it sells, how many times a month it sells. But the default in Keepa is 3 months. Now, how do we read this chart? Well, every time this chart dips down and the bestseller rank dips, it indicates there was at least one sale. Now, we know in this particular case that in a 3-month period, if you see here in 3 months, this item only dipped once and it started progressively climbing from there. That tells me it's not a very good seller. I don't want to hold inventory at an Amazon warehouse or in my own warehouse, tie up my funds for an item that's only going to sell once every 3 months. So what do we look for? we look for this line to dip multiple times. Let me show you an example. So here's one where, now in the first example, the line, I call it flatlining at the top of the chart, not very good. In this example, it seems to be flatlining at the bottom of the chart. So the closer it is to bestseller rank 0, which means if you think about your #1 bestseller, #2, #3, #4, the closer it is to 0, the more often this item sells, the more often you will get a buy box, the more often you'll get your refund, your returns, and your investment back on your funds. So the best chart is the one that's closer to the bottom of the chart, or flatlining at the bottom. There's a couple of things that I want to draw your attention to on this chart. In this orange section, this means that Amazon is actually selling this product as well. So you would be competing with Amazon if you're going to sell this product. There's also options. If your item is used, you can turn on the used and you can see how many times a used item sells, not as frequently as the brand new ones. And you can also see that the used sells for a lot less than the actual new one. If you take a look, new says $49.99, and at the bottom, the last price used at that particular moment when it sold was $38.12. We can turn on the all and have a look at the historical in 1,300 days, or in approximately 4.5 years. This item was at the bottom of the chart almost the entire period. If you want to see how well it sells in a particular time of year, so let's say you were buying this item just for Christmas because it's Q4, it's approaching, you want to see how this item has done historically in Q4. Put your cursor somewhere in the calendar. So let's say Q4 in the middle of October. Hold down your left key and drag across. This will expand for you the section that is just from October to January, or October to December, whichever period you pulled out. And you can see historically how well this item has done. At Christmas time, the price has jumped up dramatically to $69.99 from approximately $49. So you can see that there's a lot more money to be made during Q4. You can also see how many sellers there were during Q4. And the number of sellers here was only 1 in this particular period, and perhaps it was Amazon. At one point, there may have been 2. When Amazon was out of stock, this person got the opportunity to jump in and get their price on it. But you can see that this hovers really close to the 0 mark. So this would be one, if you're permitted to sell, that I would be really, really excited about. Let me show you one more. And this is my favorite kind of chart that I look at because I can actually count how many times that a product has sold. In this instance, when we look at, we'll go back to the 3 months, when we look here, we don't really know if it sold once or 100 times in the last day or 2 or month. We can only see that it flatlines on the bottom, and we know it sells multiple times. Otherwise, there wouldn't be 4 sellers here at the moment. They wouldn't waste their time or money investing in a product that wasn't going to sell. In this instance, what I like about this chart, and I call it the heart attack chart, is every single time there is at least 1 sale, that chart dips down. What you want to see it doing is constantly dipping down. The more often it dips, the more times it sells. Now, in this case, there's only 1 seller, so this person's getting the benefit of the sales every time. It could be a private label product, and that's why there's only 1 seller. But let's take a look. If you want to be a little bit more sure to see how many times it sells in a month, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. 33 times in a month. with only one seller. And if you're allowed to sell this product, would you want to share that buy box and say, hey, you know what? I don't mind getting 15 sales. That original person might not like it, but I sure as heck do. Let's see how many times it sells in a day. Can we count? Absolutely. It sells multiple times in a day, in a week, and it sells at least one time per day. So you know that in a 1 month period, you'll have at least one sale a day if you're the only seller. That's something I would invest my money in for sure. If it's got a third-party seller, you will know whether or not there's a fulfilled by Amazon and as well as a fulfilled by merchant seller. You will know if it's being sold as used and what condition it's sold in. And you'll know at the time it was captured approximately what the buy box price was. All right, so this is my quick and dirty version of how to read Keepa. If you have any questions, please post them below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. But do me a favor, before you go anywhere, make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and share with all your Amazon friends. Thanks for joining me today, and have yourself a wonderful day.